So like we said, Rockbridge leads or trails Rockhurst 7-3. I'll just repeat what I said. Very defense heavy game. What were there? Three turnovers.
Three turnovers combined. There was two by Rockhurst, one by Rockbridge.
Two by Rockhurst.
Two interceptions thrown by Green. 1-2. Second one was to Rotterman, and I believe the first one was to.
That's right, Marcus Manuel.
That's exactly right.
That's right. Don't get us wrong. The offense have had plenty of opportunities to do some damage. They just haven't cashed in yet. Keyword there, yet. That's the great part about football and the great part about sports. Sports is the best reality television because you just don't know what's going to happen next. You don't. It's absolutely not scripted. I mean, I'd hate to think that high school games are fixed.
I would too.
I'd hate to think that, but hey, sometimes you just don't know. You just don't know.
You never know.
Like I said, that's why sports is the greatest television. It's the greatest form of entertainment. And a lot of the times what happens in sports, in football, in baseball, basketball, soccer, it was said best in the 2010 World Cup. Landon Donovan scored a goal against Algeria to move the U.S. onto the knockout round. I can't place my name on the commentator, but he said you couldn't have written a script like this. Scoring in stoppage time to move on, and that's exactly right. Sports doesn't have a script.
That, too, Alex, was just the most beautiful thing I've ever heard.
Appreciate it, Mr. Rothermick. So I believe Rockbridge will be receiving yes, Rockhurst did receive in the first half. They returned the ball to the 15. Hopefully Rockbridge can do a better job of setting up better field position than Rockhurst did, as they both come out fired as it's still totally anybody's game. I mean, 7-3, and one possession game. It's absolutely still a toss-up. Looks like for Rockbridge, Keewan Collins and Martez Manuel will be back to return, as we got to flip which direction we're going here. As Rockhurst will be kicking to the left, as defending the south end zone. This would be. They will be going right to left. Rockbridge, the green tops, yellow pants, black helmets, will be moving left to right. There's some social media interaction. Tate Nickelberry, my friend we mentioned earlier, really digs the Rockbridge uniforms today. I believe he said they're new and they just look real nice.
I really like them too. More of a look more back to like the green and gold of Rockbridge. They've incorporated a lot of black. They're still wearing the black helmets, but I do like that classic green and gold.
Absolutely. Back to kick for Rockhurst is Eric Angrazano. Senior kicker, 5'9", 160. He's ranging in the Alex Weimer range there for stature. He takes his pre-steps and boots it away, and we're off with our second half. That is Martez Manuel on the return, drops it, picks it up. He's got a seam up the middle of the field. He gets a block, and he returns it to around his own 34-yard line, and that is what you like to see. If you are a Bruin, come out, get a big return like that. He shedded a tackle. That's what you want to see. Maybe pump up the team a little bit.
It's certainly the play could have ended up a lot worse than it did. He sort of bobbled the initial catch there, picked it up and took off, and maybe that sort of fumble sort of broke down everyone didn't really stay in their lane, and he was able to find a seam and just gash through it for a solid kickoff return.
Yeah, we switched our roles for the second half. I will be taking over the play-by-play duties. My partner Matthew Rothrick will be taking over the color duties, as Tweehouse takes a snap, hands it off to Pete, cuts towards the middle, sheds the tackler, and it's finally brought down around the 39, pickup of about 4 or 5. That's a great run on first down. I mean, if you do the math right, you pick up 3-4 yards every down, you get a first down, you keep the chains moving. Before you know it, you're right there. You're knocking on the door.
That's exactly right.
Tweehouse once again lined up with shotgun. Nate Pete, lone man in the backfield. Dual receivers on the near side. Tweehouse takes a snap, hands it off to Pete, spins, is brought down by Cooper Krezik, my bad. And that's good enough for a first down, so Rockbridge, quick 2 plays, and they moved the chains already. That's better than their first 2 plays of the first half, where I don't believe they got a first down until their 3rd drive of the game. So already moving the ball here in the beginning of the second half better than they did almost the entire first half. Tweehouse takes a snap, a little bit of a counter action, A handoff to Pete, and he's wrapped up in the backfield by Matt O'Keefe, the Hocklet linebacker, 6 foot, 215-pound senior. That'll make it 2nd and 11.
I really want to see in the second half which team made the better adjustments at halftime. They both struggled offensively, but you've got a tale of two different coaches. You've got Veneta, who's brand new, and Severino, who's been there for years. I want to see who came out of halftime with the better offensive adjustments to win this football game.
Absolutely. Like we said, Severino coached 7 state championship teams. Veneta, 11-1 in Hazelwood Central last year. His first year as a Bruin head coach. Treehouse takes a snap, hands it off to Pete, has a seam towards the middle. He's finally brought down by a host of Hawklets. I think the man who originally got there was the senior linebacker, Harry O'Neill, was originally got a paw on him. Excuse me, Andrew Stafford was the man who slowed down Pete there at the 4 of the play. Treehouse gathers his signals from the sideline. They're going to go a trips receiving core on the far side, lone receiver here on the near side. Play action fake, he pumps, looks towards the middle, and I believe intended for Matthew Hall, who was not paying attention on the play, or wasn't looking back at the time, and I don't believe he would have had a shot at it anyways, as Treehouse overthrew him by a good foot or two. It would have taken a pretty mighty hop and a mighty catch to come down with it. I
think there may have been a little route miscommunication there, as Matt Hall didn't really turn around until the pass was over his head, and it was not thrown anywhere really near Matt Hall, so there may have just been some sort of miscommunication there, either between the quarterback and the tight end, or maybe just sort of issues with getting the play in.
Yeah, this is Matthew Hall back to punt. 2 returners back for the Hawkins. They almost get to it. This is Cooper Krezek on the return, and he is hit immediately and brought down. That is Martez Manuel, the junior safety there on the stop for Rockbridge, and that pins Rockhurst back down to their own 15, so they'll have a long ways to march if they want to try and put some points on the board here in the second half for their first drive.
You know, Manuel really didn't hit Krezek that hard. It was just more of he just was there right at the perfect time, as he was just able to kind of knock him off his balance, and he never really got forward momentum and just sort of fell over, made the tackle for pinning the Hawklets way back in their own territory.
So Derek Green will bring his troops back onto the field. Lined up under center, hands it off to the running back. That is McCandless. I couldn't pronounce his name for some reason. He had a great run there while I was trying to search for it for about 12 or 13 yards, fighting through contact.
Well, I've been calling his name all day. He's really been quite the playmaker, as McCandless has come up big a few times on runs and passes, as looked like Evan Rodman missed a tackle there. Would have stopped McCandless before he gained too many more yards, but Brady McCandless was able to cut up field and get the first down.
So Rockhurst comes out, lined up in the I formation. McCandless, the deep back, they handed it off to him. Cuts right and is hit for about a 3-yard gain. That was Trey Manuel there on the stop for Rockbridge, the sophomore defensive back, as he checks out for Martez Manuel, who comes back into the game.
There's a little shoving afterwards by one of the offensive linemen for Rockhurst and Will Norris of Rockbridge. And we'll have to see if we get any more extracurricular plays going on here as this second half progresses. This has been quite the physical game so far.
Green sends a man in motion. Originally in the weak set, now just a single back formation. Play flick to McCandless. He looks for the fullback, and he is hit hard by Martez Manuel. He just checked back in. Come flying in there and smacked him. That was R.J. Pascuzzi, the junior tight end, with the reception. Man, did he get licked by Martez Manuel.
Well, that initially wasn't Martez Manuel's man, but after he saw that the pass was coming there, he came over and rocked Pascuzzi's world as he laid the hammer down.
That's what a free safety does. They roam and look to obliterate anything that does not have their jersey. In the I formation, Green sets up under center, hands it off to McCandless, finds a seam, and is brought down by Evan Rotterman, but not quick enough for a first, or not quick enough to be stopped there on third down. So the chains will be moved here for the Rockhurst Hawklets as McCandless, their workhorse, powers for about a gain of 6.
It was a nice run there by McCandless as the Hawklets offense comes out looking a little better than it did in the first half as they're able so far to move the ball. It's been slow and steady, but slow and steady wins the race.
Green takes a snap and hands it off to Michael Johnson, the junior running back, 5'8", 175. Maybe looking to give McCandless a little bit of a break as, like I said, he's been their workhorse the majority of the game, making most of their plays. Him, Joseph Coit, and Cooper Kresick have been the main playmakers for the Rockhurst Hawklets.
I was just about to say that's the first time we've called Johnson's name all afternoon, and it may be maybe fatigue with McCandless as it's so hot out here. It's hot in this press box. I can't imagine what it's like out there on the turf.
Offset I formation. Green takes a snap. Play fake to Johnson. Looking downfield. Doesn't have anybody. Looks back across. Scrambles towards the far sideline and just spikes it off of Andrew Wright's hands, the Rockbridge linebacker. Great job by the defense there to apply pressure and force Green out of the pocket, making it 3rd and long. Parker Wright there with the deflection.
And that'll bring up 3rd and long for the Hawklets. They've we don't have any stats on third down conversions like that or anything, but they've seemed to struggle. Both teams have seemed to struggle converting third downs as both offenses have struggled for the most part here in the first half and now leading into the second half.
Green comes out shotgun set. McCandless lone man accompanying him. Rockhurst leads 7-3. Play fake. And he is brought down by Don Hammers immediately in the backfield with a huge 3rd down sack for a loss of roughly 11. And here with 6:26 to go, Rockbridge has refound its momentum. And Don Hammers with a big, big play. I believe that's their first sack today for the Rockbridge Bruins. That is huge.
It was a great inside move there by Hammers as he's able to just make his offensive lineman look silly as he's able to fight his way into the backfield and just swallow Green for the sack.
Keewan Collins back to return this Rockhurst punt as it's a wobbly kick. Takes a Hawklet bounce and it'll finally die out at about the Bruin 15. So Don Hammers, the star of that defensive possession, wrapping up Derek Green in the backfield before he could even get a pass off. So let's see if Trevor Tweehouse and Nate Pete can bring something out of this offense. It's been like this all day, just defense not letting anything happen. Of course, it's the first game of the season, so that's about what you expect. The offense hasn't really found its footing yet. I mean, you've had a long off season. You look forward to getting out here, and that's just how it works in high school football.
Well, let's see if maybe the big play on defense leads to big plays on offense. Sometimes it takes that big play by the other side to really energize a team and the offense, and a big play like that by Hammers can really just swing momentum, as you mentioned earlier.
Well, while the teams take a water break, we'll take a quick break of our own. This is Missouri High School Football on CPS TV. And welcome back to Columbia, Missouri, as the Rockbridge Bruins trailed the Rockhurst Hawklets 7-3 here with 5:51 to go in the third quarter. Rockbridge coming out after just receiving a punt. Tweehouse takes a snap, fakes a handoff to Pete, and is brought down by a multitude of Rockhurst Hawklets. The first man there was Jack McKinley, the junior DN for Rockhurst. That'll be a loss of 1 or 2.
McKinley was able to just pressure the backfield as the fake handoff to Pete didn't really fool him at all, and he was able to bring down Tweehouse for the loss there.
2nd and 10, ball still on the 15. Tweehouse takes a snap, hands it off to Pete, tries to find anything going towards the middle, but there's nothing going. As once again, the Rockhurst defense just hounds the running back before he can burst an open field or even find a gap.
You know, I really think the key to why Rockbridge's offense has been so poor so far is the Hawklets have really done a great job of containing Nate Pete, as he is an explosive running back with an offer to Mizzou and has impressed last year even as a sophomore, but he really just has had nothing going today so far.
Yeah, Rockhurst really keyed in on the run, forcing Tweehouse to throw the you'd think to force Tweehouse to throw the ball, but a little bit of stubborn play calling as they still ran it. Tweehouse takes a snap, calls a play fake, rolls out to the right, looking downfield, and there's nobody open. His intended target was Matthew Hall. That was Tommy Eccles on the coverage on Matthew Hall. So another 3-and-out for this Rockbridge Bruins. And if the offense isn't, all the way there, this Rockhurst defense is really showing that, they deserve that number 3 ranking. They haven't given any daylight to this Bruins offense.
And if for those who missed out or who don't remember anymore, the Rockbridge field goal came on a interception is what initially set up the great field position, and then they were able to take it to the 1, but it was that Rockhurst defense that stopped them on the 1-yard line stand and forced them to kick a field goal.
Hall receives a snap, sends a wobbly punt down to midfield, and it's going to take a nice roll as Coit passed on grabbing it, and it'll be down at the Rockhurst 20. So flip field position here, as once again we have another possession starting inside the 35 of either team's respective sides.
Well said, Alex.
I know.
We've got 4:18 left here in the third quarter. Our score is still 3-7. And I'll turn it back over to Alex as he will give you the play-by-play.
Rockhurst comes out in an offset I formation. McCandless in the backfield. Oh, they have a new quarterback, it appears. It is no longer Derek Green. That is Luke Boehm in right now, 6 foot, 170. He's a junior compared to a Green senior status. We have a penalty here. Appears to be a false start on the Hawklets.
And I think you're exactly right. I believe it was false start, and you're right. There is a new quarterback in Luke Boehm. I wonder if there's any relation to Mizzou offensive lineman Evan Boehm, as it is spelled the same way, as now he will check in as quarterback.
Boom. Boehm takes a snap and delayed handoff to McCandless, who picks up a gain of 6, get a little bit of that penalty yardage back. It'll make it 2nd and 9, and there's a Bruin down on the field. That appears to be Reese Jarvis down on the field right now. He is the senior cornerback for these Bruins.
I believe it is Reese, and he's grabbing his right knee, and that's never good to see.
Yeah, they're working on his right knee.
It could be now he's starting to grab his hamstring. It could be a cramp. It's so hot out there. It's hard to stay hydrated. Jarvis plays both ways. And when you play Ironman football like that on a hot day like today, and first game of the year, conditioning may not be as good as it will be at the end of the season. That's when you see a lot of cramps.
Big shout out to the Hallsville Indians winning their first game of the season in a comeback victory, as you see Jarvis getting up now. Not being helped off the field, walking under his own power, still grabbing at his leg, but the Hallsville Indians trailed early 14-0 and then scored 33 unanswered through rain, through lightning, and pulled out a big victory against the Putnam County Midgets. Next week they'll visit Mark Twain, who's looking to get revenge from last year, as Hallsville pulled out a big-time win there. Or not there, but at home in the second game of the season against Mark Twain. Came down to the final possession, and a special teams mishap led to a Hallsville victory, as Jarvis seems to be in a great deal of pain, wincing with every step. And I think they'll lay him down or sit him on the bench to tend to his injury. To resume action on the field, Luke Boehm still lined up under center for these Hawklets. Takes a snap, hands it off, and it is bobbled by McCandless, and it is picked up by the Rockbridge Bruins. That is Will Norris. Immediately comes in and makes an impact. Will Norris grabs the fumble on the botched handoff, and they will have great field position and an opportunity to really strike here in the second half.
Well, you just bring in a fresh QB, and that could lead to issues with snaps and bobbles and whatnot, as they just simply lost the football, and Norris was able to recover, and now the Bruins have terrific field position.
This Rockbridge sideline is all kinds of fired up as the Bruin offense comes back on the field, hoping to take advantage of this turnover and turn it into 6 rather than, as the play clock dribbles down to 2 to 1, and they barely get the snap off. Pete takes the handoff and is brought down at the line of scrimmage, maybe just pass it for a gain of 1, but a little bit of laziness or lack of attention there by the offense of Rockbridge to not see the play clock dwindling down as it reached 4 as they were still jogging out there. They got set quickly and managed to not receive a delay of game penalty.
Marcus Manuel's now checking in for Rockbridge. And an update on Reese Jarvis. He is standing up on the sideline under his own power. It looks like he may have had a cramp. I believe that's what it's got to be, as he's now working on stretching both of his calf muscles.
Pete takes the snap, run, tries to bounce to the outside, but is brought down by Ty Smishhauser of the Rockhurst Hawklets. He met Pete in the backfield immediately, dragged him down from behind.
Well, Ty's got a heck of a last name here, so we're just going to call him Ty. He had a great play, was able to get into the backfield there and bring Pete down for a loss.
Simshuser, I believe it is. Simshuser, now that I get a second glance at it.
We'll go with that.
Tweehouse takes a snap in the shotgun, looks right, can't find anybody, evades a tackler, swings it out to Pete, who makes a one-handed grab, can't avoid a tackler, and he's brought down at the 9-yard line. It'll be about 4th and 3. Let's see what they try and decide to do here. I think they're gonna leave the offense out there.
Well, it was Danielson Ike who really had pressure in the backfield, caused the play to break down, and Tweehouse just had to sling it over to Pete, who made a slick little one-handed grab and tried to gain some yardage, and he did, but it just simply wasn't enough for the first down, as here they're going to go for 4th down.
Tweehouse takes a snap under center, fakes the handoff to Pete, rolls out. He's going to scramble with it. He's got a lane. He bounced to the outside, and there's a block in the back penalty. This is going to get negated. Block in the back penalty at the 5-yard line as he dove for the pylon. Almost simultaneously, the back judge threw a flag. Well, they're going to give him a holding this time rather than a block in the back. I saw it differently, but all means the same. Touchdown was never put on the board, but hypothetically gets taken off the board. And Rockbridge will have to make a decision here. As I count on them bringing up the field goal unit.
I believe they got Matt Hall there for the holding. And that play was set up so beautifully, as it was Nate Pete who really had the best block, as there was certainly pressure in the backfield immediately, but he was able to stop that defender from getting to Tweehouse, which gave Tweehouse time to roll out and run for the what would have been touchdown if it hadn't been negated during that holding call.
Well, it'll be 4th and 8 as Big Danielson Ike checks out here, probably for a more mobile lineman who can chase Tweehouse out of the pocket. He takes a snap and shotgun, looks left, has a receiver, and it is caught for a first down. That is Wyatt Toe, the junior receiver, catches it for a first down at the 3-yard line. It'll be 1st and goal. Beautiful pass, beautiful catch. He caught it in traffic. Beautiful ball placement by Tweehouse, and they are knocking on the door here.
It was a good time for Wyatt Toe to come up with his first catch of the day, as he was able to snag it right at about the 3-yard line. Just enough for the first down. And now we've got 1st and goal for the Bruins as they're knocking on the door.
Tweehouse lines up in shotgun. Pete to his right, takes a snap, looks right, can't find anybody. He has plenty of time to run, but he doesn't. He looks in the back of the end zone, and it is not. It is in and out of the hands of Matthew Hall, as Tweehouse looked like he had a lane to run, decided against it, and tossed it up there to his big 6'3", 200-pound tight end. He just couldn't come down with it.
Well, I was about to say, it looked like Tweehouse, without hesitation, could have took off and scored easily, but decisiveness to try to throw it for a touchdown instead of run it in. So I think what cost him, even though it still went through the hands of Matthew Hall, is he could have easily have corralled that and got 1 foot down for the touchdown.
Tweehouse line up under center. Pete, the lone man in the backfield. 2 receivers split out on the near side. They hand it off to Pete. He's met in the backfield. Pushes forward, though, to about the 2.5, 2-yard line. It'll be 3rd down, and this is huge as there is a Rockhurst Hawklet down on the field. That is R.J. Pascuzzi, the junior linebacker. And he appears to be in a bit of pain, too. It appears to be the same motions as Jarvis was making, but he appeared to be holding more of his knee rather than his.
Well, this may be where we start to see all the cramps. As I was at the Hickman football game last night, and both teams, particularly Hickman, struggled with cramping up as the game progressed. As just this early part of the year where not everybody's quite in peak condition yet. You really start to see just those cramps pop up left and right. But on that previous play, it was Jacob Sykes who really came up with the big tackle there, as he was able to stop Pete before Pete could even get going and prevent him from scoring the touchdown, as they're still working on Pascuzzi.
Well, with this injury timeout, we'll take a timeout of our own. We'll be right back. This is Missouri High School football on CPS TV. And we are back. Rockbridge here on 3rd and goal at the 2-yard line, trying to break the play and see if they can't grab a lead here. Tweehouse under center, takes a snap, hands it. Oh, that's a play fake to Pete. He's going to run for the end zone, and he strikes pay dirt. That is a Rockbridge touchdown. A 2-yard scramble on a rollout by Tweehouse as he play faked to Pete and went in nearly untouched into the end zone. And Rockbridge leads Rockhurst 9-3 here with 1:02 left to go in the 3rd quarter.
Well, that was a great fake there to Pete as it fooled everyone, including my good friend Alex.
Woo.
As all of the Hawklets, I think, bit on that fake, and Tweehouse was able to scamper in easily for the score.
This is Will Norris on to kick the extra point. Ball snap, place, and the kick is up and right down the middle as Rockbridge takes a 10-7 lead here with 1:02 to go here in the 3rd quarter. It's their 2nd lead of the day. Same deficit as their 1st lead, 3. And that's huge. Of course, this all comes off the fumble recovery by Will Norris on the botched handoff between Luke Boehm and Brady McCandless. Boehm, a junior, McCandless, a senior. See if they can't get their problems fixed, their issues figured out. And I wouldn't be surprised if they brought back out Derek Green, the starting quarterback for Rockhurst. See if they can't fix these issues, as they didn't have that problem earlier in the game.
Well, that possession started with the fumble recovery by Norris and ended with the PAT by Norris. And in between, we saw some solid offensive plays. And now the Rockbridge Bruins have the lead again, as they've been able to capitalize on 2 of the 3 turnovers that the Hawklets have had, leading to their field goal in the first half and their touchdown here in the second half. As now we've got a 10-7 Rockbridge lead. Great
job by Rockbridge on the last possession, too, to overcome the holding penalty. As Norris motions to his teammates, lines up and boots the ball. This will be Cooper Krezik on the return. Can't get a block from McCandless, sheds a tackler, and will be brought down by Trey Manuel, the sophomore defensive back for Rockbridge. So the Bruin defense will trot out there, hoping to maintain this lead and stop the Hawklets from going anywhere. Of course, last year, Derek Green will be coming back out to lead the offense for the Hawklets. Of course, last year, Rockbridge was absolutely trounced by this Rockhurst team, 51-6. Totally different story this year as we have ourselves a heck of a ball game. 10-7 with 54 to go here in the third quarter. Green lines up under center. Play fake to McCandless. Rolls left. Looking for receiver. Can't find anybody. Evades a tackler and finally is brought down. That is Will Norris again making plays everywhere for this Rockbridge team.
Norris, the sophomore, has come up big recently, and he really has just been making a lot of plays here in the start, or to I guess now to end this third quarter, where we've only got 28 seconds left. But I really want to see now is how does Derek Green respond? He was sat on the last possession for Luke Boehm. Now he's brought back out here. He hasn't been able to move the ball yet, and now he has to respond because now he's down 3 instead of up 3, and we just really would like to see, or excuse me, up 4, and see what he can do.
He rolls out, no play fake. The ball is caught. That is Chris Kastrup on the reception. Senior tight end for this Hawklet varsity football team. It'll now be 3rd down and 6 from their own 31. That'll be the end of the third quarter. Rockbridge leads the Rockhurst Hawklets 10-7, and we come back. We'll have an action-packed fourth quarter for you. Don't go anywhere as this game is exciting. This is Missouri High School football on CPS TV. And welcome back to Columbia, Missouri at Battle High School as the Rockbridge Bruins lead the Rockhurst Hawklets 10-7 here at the beginning of the third quarter. It'll be 3rd and 5 for Rockhurst at their own 31. Looking to convert to keep this drive going, possibly answer the last scoring drive by Rockbridge. Green takes a snap, fakes the handoff to McCandless. He's being pressured by Bryson Clayton, who reaches for him, can't grab him. He passes it out to McCandless, who has open field. He can't be tracked down. He's finally pushed out by Will Norris and Evan Rotterman. Wow, a busted play turns into a first down for the Rockhurst Hawklets as Derek Green did a great job of improvising and evading pressure, and for McCandless to find an open spot there in the second level to
Well, that play broke down before it even got started as Clayton met Green in the backfield before he even had a chance to turn around. But Green's ability to avoid Clayton was what led him to prolong the play and find McCandless for the first down.
Green lines up under center, I formation. Michael Johnson in the backfield, play fake. Looks down, looks deep downfield. He has a man, and it is caught. That is Harry O'Neill with the reception. That's about a 25 or 30-yard gain. I believe that was Evan Rotterman who was covering him. And Harry O'Neill is 6'4", Rotterman 6'3", so not a huge advantage, but just enough as Harry O'Neill, strong hands, able to come down with that leaping catch for a big first down and a huge gain as they move into Rockbridge territory.
Well, O'Neill still is a pretty big target out there, and he was in double coverage. Green threaded the needle, and O'Neill was able to snag that.
Green takes a snap, hands it off to Johnson, giving McCandless a break. And he busts a tackle. He's still moving for about an 8-yard gain. I believe that was Jack Roush who slowed him up there. The senior defensive tackle was able to drag him down from behind, but not before he could pick up a really nice chunk of yardage.
What I'm seeing,
2nd and 8.
What I'm seeing from Johnson is he seems to be the speedier of the two backs, as he's only listed at 5'8", but he certainly has some wheels on him as McCandless. He's listed at 6 feet. He seems more to be the power back. He's still dynamic, but I think Johnson brings definitely some speed to his game.
Derek Green lines up under center. 2 receivers to the right. He hands it off to Johnson, running through that same gap made on the last play, and he is brought down at the 16-yard line as this Rockhurst offense is finally finding some holes in this Rockbridge defensive line, as they have exploited these last 2 plays for a couple of really, really nice gains.
Well, it may be that question of fatigue now. Both these teams have been out here for a while. Rockbridge has a lot of players playing both ways. And as we've mentioned all day, it's hot. It's really hot. And it comes to the point where now Jarvis is starting to cramp up in others. We'll have to see what kind of gas is left in the tank for the Bruins.
Green takes a snap, hands it off to McCandless. It's the same play they've ran the past 3 times now. This will be the 3rd time with Michael Johnson. This time McCandless on the carry for another 8-yard gain. What they do is they line up 2 receivers on the near side, clearing out the left side. They're anticipating Rockbridge will be in man coverage. If they can open up a gap, they got plenty of Green to work with. They've done a great job exploiting that. Once again, Rockhurst comes out, dual receivers to the right, I formation. Green lines up under center after yelling out some signals, and McCandless takes the handoff just enough for a first down. He's met by Parker Wright, the sophomore linebacker for Rockbridge. It'll be 1st and goal at the 6-yard line here with 9:37 to go in the 4th quarter. Rockbridge leads Rockhurst 10-7. But Rockhurst is driving downfield and knocking on the door.
Well, with that last play there by McCandless, there was nothing really special about it. It's just what they needed, is he's able to cut up the field for a few more yards to get the first down, and now they've got 1st and goal on the 5. We've got a stoppage and play and a timeout called
by Rockbridge. Well, they'll take a timeout. We'll take a timeout. Rockbridge leads Rockhurst 10-7. 9:24 to go in the 4th quarter. Don't go anywhere. It's just getting exciting. This is Missouri High School football on CPS TV. And welcome back as Rockhurst is 1st and goal at the 5-yard line. Green lines up under center, hands it off to McCandless, who is powers through. Where are they going to spot it? Where are they going to spot it? They spot him just short, about a foot away from the end zone. I thought he rolled over a Rockbridge defender without any ligaments touching the ground into the end zone, but the refs seem to disagree.
Well, it was Matt O'Keefe there, the fullback, had a great lead block on that play. Really what gave McCandless the chance to plow through, but comes up just a foot short.
Inches away, 2nd and goal. It's a quarterback sneak, and Green powers right through for a Rockhurst touchdown as they regain the lead. 13-10 now. What a well-done drive to respond to Rockbridge's touchdown drive here with 8:46 to go in the 4th quarter.
Well, that touchdown run there by Green is about as simple as it gets. Just quick QB sneak as he takes it from the center and just goes slightly to his left and into the end zone for another Rockhurst touchdown.
Their kicker is Eric Angrazano on to attempt the point after. This is actually a big point after. If he can knock it through, it'll be a 2-possession, or not a 2-possession, but they won't have a field goal to tie it, and that's exactly what he does. As Rockbridge now trails Rockhurst 14-10 with just under 8 minutes to go. And it'll be a little difficult for Rockbridge if the theme continues today. They've gotten both their points off of miscues by the Rockhurst offense. And let's see if they can string together a really nice drive, a well-done drive, maybe get a big play or two, and drive down the field and maybe regain the lead.
Well, I wanted to see how the senior quarterback Derek Green would respond after being benched and then having to come back on facing a deficit, and he responded as best as he possibly could, leading him down the field for a touchdown. Now I want to see how Trevor Tweehouse responds. He's another senior quarterback, to be a senior leader, show some leadership. He struggled for the most part offensively today, and now he just needs to put it together for this last 8:46 and lead these Bruins to victory.
Yeah, we got a great game here coming down to the closing 8.5 minutes. 14-10 is the score. And if they combine for 60 total points, which we don't see, you'll get a free taco from Jack in the Box. Unfortunately, I don't believe we'll be seeing that today. So back to receive the kicker, Keewan Collins, and Martez Manuel for the Bruins, as it is Eric Angrazano to kick off here for the Hawklets. Boots it away towards the right side of the field. That is Manuel, who goes against returning it, does not touch it, so it goes into the end zone for a touchback. So it was a great boot there by Angrazano.
Well, that certainly could have been interesting if Martez Manuel decided to touch that. It was close, too. I thought initially he may have. Well, we made it a live football in the end zone. At that point, it gets a little interesting. But we'll just take a touchback, and a water break is called now as we have 8:46 left in this game. Rockhurst has regained the lead. It is Rockhurst 14, Rockbridge 10.
Tweehouse takes the snap and hands it off to Pete, who outruns a lineman, cuts up field towards the sideline, finds the edge, and is clipped by a Hawklet defensive back. That is Cameron Patton, the junior cornerback for Rockhurst, as it is now 2nd and 3, a great run on first down.
Well, one of the reasons the Rockbridge offense has struggled so much is Nate Pete's been contained for almost all of this game. If Pete's able to find some running lanes here in the last 8 minutes of this game, could be a completely different ending to this ball game.
Tweehouse takes a snap, hands it off to Pete, tries to find a gap, cuts back towards the middle, bowls over a defender, and moves it up to his own 39-yard lane for a gain of roughly 13. That's a huge run. Of course, it'll make it a first down. That's what you'd like to see from your star running back.
Well, Pete, that was another nice run as he's able to truck a defender and keep going for those few extra yards to get the first down, as he's starting to show off his abilities as a running back.
Tweehouse in shotgun, takes a snap. Little pitch to Pete, who bobbles it for a split second. Gives a stiff arm, breaks a tackle, still moving, keeps the feet chugging, and almost broke it for what could have been a very dangerous play for these Rockhurst Hawklets as he gains 9. He was finally wrapped up by Andrew Stafford of Rockhurst as he drops to the ground with, we don't know, he's not
Looks to be some sort of leg injury, maybe another cramp.
Yeah.
As you mentioned, it was a little bit of an option play there by the Bruins as they pitched to Pete, and Pete was able to keep driving those feet and plow through some Rockhurst defenders before finally being brought down by Stafford, as it looks like he's cramping up as they're giving him water and working out that, I believe it's that right leg of his, as he will get up on his own power and be walk off assisted by some of his teammates.
This will slow down the Rockbridge tempo they had going. It's 2nd and 1. Both teams get a little bit of a water break right here, including the referees.
The referees work hard too.
Yep, we mentioned who the referees were earlier. And, Rockbridge trails 14-10. Just under 8 minutes to go here in the 4th quarter. And it's 2nd and 1 on their own 48. I think if they pass midfield, this will be their first time passing midfield after without the aid of a Rockhurst turnover, which shows progress, which is what you like to see early in the season. Tweehouse lines up in the shot. A little bit of a pistol set here as Nate Pete lines up behind him. Takes a snap, hands it off to Pete. Finds a gap. Great blocking up there as he busts loose. He's down to the 30, to the 20, 10, 5, and it's a Rockbridge touchdown. They lead 16-14. A great job by the line up front to give him a gap. He did a great job of shaking off a wimpy tackler, bust to the sideline, and then turn on the afterburners to send that drive home packing for a touchdown.
Well, we talked all game. Rockhurst has done a great job containing Pete until this possession. Pete really made the Hawklets burn the entire way down the field, as I don't believe anybody but Pete accounted for all the yards on that possession, as he's able to run through the massive hole set up by the Rockbridge offensive lineman, as he just make one cut and he's gone, as his elusive speed makes him tough to catch once he's in the open field.
And that's the ability of Nate Pete we talked about, as Norris barely squeezes through the extra point. They lead 17-14 now with 7:37 to go. Nate Pete is taking over that offensive drive for the Bruins and single-handedly giving them the lead. This is Missouri State High School football on CPS TV. Welcome back to Columbia, Missouri, as we have a barn burner of a game now. It is 17-14. Rockbridge leads Rockhurst, the number 3 team in the state, with 7.5 minutes to go. Rockbridge will be kicking the ball back to Rockhurst, who had just regained the lead, and they just traded scores.
Well, the offensive floodgates have opened up here in the last few minutes, as we've seen a lot of points be put on the board.
Norris boots it away. That is Krezek on the return. Breaks a tackle. Oh, and he is laid out by Martez Manuel. That is his second big hit of the game. But not before he can pick up about 30 yards on the return there and field it in his own end zone.
Well, Krezek was able to shed one wimpy tackler before Martez Manuel was able to rock his world, as he just sort of upended Krezek as he was cutting his way up the field. Nice tackle there.
A little bit of scorpion action.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be Derek Green looking to score in his second possession here, lead the offense. As McCandless is not in the backfield, that is Daniel Tartaglia lined up next to him, as McCandless is split out wide. And that's what they're going to intend here. That's who they're going to throw it to, as he receives the ball and moves to about the 45-yard line for a big first down, about a 14-yard gain there, as they split him out wide. And he was the intended receiver from from the get-go.
Well, McCandless clearly is their best playmaker off the ball, and they've been trying to find creative ways to get him the ball all game. That time they split him out wide and just throw it to him as a wide receiver, and he's able to complete the pass for a solid gain.
And fatigue starting to hit this Rockbridge defense, as you see. Hands on knees, hands on hips. As this time McCandless is split out in the slot again. It looks like they'll be going with a passing route as he gets jammed. Still splits out wide, and it bounces off his knee. That was Bryson Clayton who originally jammed him. So Crean's pass falls incomplete, intended for McCandless. And that personnel group seems to be what they like to do when they throw. Tartaglia must, he's probably their best pass blocker out of the shotgun. And they're going to give McCandless a break here as they bring Michael Johnson on. So it'll be 2nd and 10 here with 7:17 to go. They line up under center this time. Tartaglia lined up at fullback. Michael Johnson, the deep back. Johnson takes the handoff but can't go anywhere. He's wrapped up at the line of scrimmage. That is Don Hammers, the first man to get there. Will Norris assisted him.
Not much going there for the Hawklet offense, as both teams have found their rhythm on offense on the last possessions. But now the Hawklets have 3rd and 9, and there's dwindling time left in this game with only 6:45 left in this game. And there's a big 3rd down coming up here right here for the Bruins and the Hawklets.
Yep, 3rd down and 9. Green lines up in shotgun. McCandless accompanies him to the right. Oh, they call timeout as they did not see the play. Oh, they didn't get the timeout in time. It'll be a delay of game. That'll move him back 5 yards. That is huge. That is a huge loss of 5 yards.
And that is a real shot to the foot, too, as 3rd and 9 is already tough just in general, but when you move them back and make it 3rd and 14, it just makes it all that more difficult, as they can't get the play off in time, or can't even get the timeout called in time, as now it'll be 3rd and very long for the Hawklets.
And their best playmaker is standing on the sideline, McCandless. Subbed out for Michael Johnson. I'd be shocked to see him run the ball here, but Ty Simsuser is now the man accompanying Green in the backfield. He takes a snap, rolls out left, looking for a receiver, can't find anybody. He's going downfield. He's got Coyton, and it through his fingers. So it was a beautifully placed ball. That was Evan Rodeman there for the coverage, as well as Marcus Manuel. And Rockhurst will be forced to punt here with 6:20 to go, trailing Rockbridge by 3. Now Keewan Collins will be back deep to return. And it'll be Harry O'Neill on the punt for the Hawklets.
Well, Green didn't have much of a window to fit it through that double coverage, but he almost did, as it just slipped through the fingertips, as Rockbridge will take a timeout here, as Veneta wants to, Coach Veneta would like to talk things over.
A look on the sideline now, and Reese Jarvis has his pads and his jersey off, as it appears his day is done with. I believe that to be him, with the towel over his head and the white cutoff.
I believe you're correct.
But we got 17-14. Rockbridge leaves Rockhurst. 4th and 14 for the Hawklets from their own 41. 6:20 to go in the 4th quarter.
Well, if Jarvis's day is in fact done, and it looks like it is, that's a big loss, not only on the offensive side of the ball, but the defensive side of the ball, as he's a starting wide receiver and a starting cornerback.
Yeah, he'll most likely be replaced by Keewan Collins on the offensive side. And on the defensive side of the ball, it'll be Keewan Collins as well. So let's see if that comes into play at some point, as Collins is back to receive the punt alongside Martez Manuel, each of which are juniors for this Rockbridge squad. Once again, back to punt for the Hawklets is Harry O'Neill. A little bit of miscommunication for the Rockbridge punt unit, it seems. O'Neal takes a snap into a high wobbler, topples over, and it finally slows down, but not before it gets into the end zone. It was really close to being an absolute disaster for this Rockbridge team and a godsend for this Rockhurst squad. But Rockbridge will take over at their own 20, maybe looking to chew some time off the clock and possibly punch it in again. Let's see if Nate Peet can give a repeat performance, if you may, from that last possession.
Well, I think Pete is going to be the key if the Bruins want to defeat the Rockhurst Hawklets. As you're looking for someone to chew the clock, Pete is the perfect person for it, as he can just they can move the ball down the field methodically with just run play after run play and just sort of shove it down Rockhurst's throat.
If this score holds with 6-11, the Bruins will leap to a 1-0 record as the Rockhurst Hawklets will fall to 0-1, as this, of course, is the season over. We have a flag on the play.
It looks like it's going to be false start.
There's most likely a lineman jumped early there. That'll make it 1st and 15 for the Bruins from their own 15-yard line.
And that's never a way you want to start your drive. We're lucky enough to take the ball at the 20, but now they'll have to take it at the 15.
Tweehouse 6 snap, hands it to Pete. Tries to find a hole to the outside. Can't, and he's wrapped up about 2 yards into the backfield. That'll make it 2nd and 17. And now we'll see what Rockbridge decides to go with here. If they decide to throw it, take the chance of possibly stopping the clock. I mean, Rockhurst will have plenty of time regardless, but I mean, you know, less is better if you're in Rockbridge's shoes right now.
You also have to worry about the situation where if they milk the clock all the way down to about 3 minutes left or so, then Rockhurst could go on their own drive and score with almost no time left, leaving Rockbridge in a tricky situation here.
4 receivers set. Tweehouse in the shotgun. Hands it off to Pete. Tweehouse is obliterated. Pete takes the snap. He is down the middle. He shakes off a tackler. He's still running. Will he get caught? It's a foot race, and he almost gets stripped as he is all the way down to the 21-yard line. Finally brought down by Sam Tatum, a touchdown-saving tackle, but there it is again. Pete making big plays for this offense in big-time moments. He's gonna ask for one out as he's tapping his helmet, saying, "Come on, coach. It's upper 80s, low 90s. We're on turf. I'm wearing pads. I just ran as hard as I could. Give me a break."
There's a heck of a run there by Pete, as there was pressure in the backfield as Tweehouse was just swallowed on that play by, I believe, the defensive end. But miss Pete, as Pete's able to just cut up the middle, and his speed just burns those Rockhurst defenders.
I believe that's Pete's first break of action on offense today, as Andrew King will check in for him. They have trips receivers here to the near side as Matthew Hall takes his position on the line. Tweehouse takes a snap, hands it off to King, covers with 2 hands, takes a hit, and really right now he's just trying to not necessarily make huge plays, but like manage what he's doing while Pete's sitting out as he is receiving some treatment here. Try and stay hydrated as he is probably very fatigued from all the action he's received today.
Well, and hopefully for Rockbridge, Pete can return to this game shortly as he seems to make his way back to the sideline and may check in back here on this next play, as it is now 2nd and 8 with 4:22 left in this game. Rockbridge leads 17-14.
Tweehouse under center. Takes a snap, fakes a handoff, rolls out to his left, has a receiver. He's going to tuck and run. And, man, he had a man open in the end zone. That would have been Wyatt Toe. He was finally brought down by Jack McLiney, as Tweehouse still picked up a good gain of 6 yards there, making it 3rd and 2 at the 15-yard line of Rockhurst.
And as I mentioned, Pete now will check back into the game on this 3rd and 2, and they look to probably give it off to him.
Big Danielson Ike is in for Rockhurst. Tweehouse takes a snap, hands it off to Pete, and can't avoid the burst of defenders that come flying through for Rockhurst. First man there was Tommy Eccles, the sophomore linebacker Let's see what Rockbridge decides to do here. They're going to go for it on 4th and 3.
This is a really interesting spot here for the Bruins as a field goal only makes it a 6-point game, so a touchdown would tie it. So it looks like they're just going to go for it. Tweehouse tries the hard snap count, try to draw him off sides. They may now wait and just call a timeout here as the clock runs down.
Yep, they're going to call a timeout. Here with 2:47 to go. They'll take a timeout. We'll take a timeout. Rockbridge leads 17-14. A dilemma on their hands. 4th and 3 from the 16. What'll they do? And welcome back as Rockbridge faces 4th and 3 on the Rockhurst 16 here. Touchdown most likely ends it. Tweehouse takes a snap, looks right, can't find anybody, faces pressure, looking for Matthew Hall in the end zone, and it is through his hands as there's a flag. And I believe there will be a personal foul for roughing the passer as Tommy Eccles hit Trevor Tweehouse late after he threw it. It is roughing the passer. That is a huge, huge call here. Late in the game with 2:41 to go, as Rockbridge will most definitely be happy about that, and they will receive a first down, a fresh set of downs, and an opportunity to run this clock out or punch it in and put the and give the Hawklets some fits.
Well, what a devastating turn of events there for Hawklets. They thought they had forced the turnover. It was on 4th down. Goes right through the hands of Matthew Hall as he has a devastated look on his face, but turns around to find that there's now the Rockbridge is going to get a fresh set of downs on just the stupid play there by Eccles. As there's no need for that, and it's going to cost them possibly even the victory.
And I believe the refs are conversating about where they want to place the ball here. And the coordinator sitting, the Rockers coordinator sitting directly to our left appear very upset and flustered at what just happened or what just transpired on that last play. So Rockbridge will move half the distance to the goal. That'll move them back from the 5 where they had originally spotted to the 8. So 1st and goal, 2:41 to go for these Bruins. As Rockhurst needs a stop to stay in this game. Dual receivers on the far side. Lone wide out Marcus Manuel here on the near side. Tweehouse takes a snap and shotgun, low snap, and there's a flag on the play. Is a false start. Now, fans might seem that as terrible, but that toss play was going to go absolutely nowhere as Pete had 3 guys dead in his tracks right on him. And not only would they lose it down, but it'd still be a 5-yard loss.
Well, you're right, but it's these silly mistakes that both teams are committing right now that I think is why the victor hasn't been decided yet. As if Rockhurst is still in this football game, a turnover here, anything can happen. Rockbridge can't keep making these pointless mistakes that they keep doing.
Now we have dual receivers on the near side. Zach Boyle's the lone wide out on the far side. Tweehouse takes a snap, hands it to Pete, rushes up the middle. It's brought down by Jacob Sykes after a short gain of 3. Pete a little slow to get up. Probably exhausted. Rockhurst will take a timeout, as will we. 3-point game with 2:33 to go. This is Missouri High School football on CPS TV. Welcome back to Battle High School, as we have a very tight game here with 2:33 to go. Rockbridge leads Rockhurst 17-14. It'll be 2nd and goal from the 10-yard line for Rockbridge after a false start penalty. Tweehouse lines up in the shotgun, takes a snap, hands it off to Pete, busts to the outside, shows off his speed. Can he find the corner? Can he find the edge? Gets knocked out of bounds. There's a flag on the play, and what can you only imagine to be holding. Line judges aren't afraid to fire those flags if they see some sort of illegal grabbing going down there on the line.
Well, like I just mentioned on the second to last play, Rockbridge again shooting themselves in the foot, making these silly mistakes. If they want to win this football game and win future football games, they really have to cut down on the penalties, as it is indeed holding, and that will march back the Bruins as penalties stop the clock, too.
Yeah, the story of the game so far, Rockhurst turned the ball over twice in interceptions. Rockbridge has cashed those in for 10 points. If you take those away, it's a 14-7 game. And Rockhurst is sitting mighty fine, but instead, Rockbridge leads 17-14. 2nd and goal from the 19. 2:26 to go. Tweehouse takes a snap, fakes the handoff to Pete, looks for anybody, can't find anybody, looking to run. Cuts to the left, giving chase, cuts to the outside. He's got to try and stay in bounds, and he does. He finally gets brought down by Sam Tatum, but not before he picks up about 7 yards and makes it to the 13-yard line, as Rockhurst will take another timeout.
Well, there's just really not much going on that play there for Rockbridge, as the pass protection broke down and Tweehouse looked to make a play with his feet. He was able to gain about 5 yards, but it'll still be 3rd and goal from the 14, which would make it easier to maybe complete a pass, but the Bruins are looking to run the football here, and banking on a 15-yard run would be pretty difficult at this point.
Yeah, he did a wonderful job of evading pressure, trying to pick up any yardage he could, and smart not to go out of bounds to stop the clock, as clearly they're trying to choose some time off to give this Rockhurst offense, which has struggled all day, less time to work with here. As this is the season opener for both teams, season opener for all of Missouri high school football. There have been plenty of good games around the area. I don't know if there are any as good as this. We mentioned earlier, Battle defeated Mexico 68-14.
Last night as well, let's go through some scores here. Battle won, as you mentioned, 68-14. Jackson knocked off Hickman 39-24. Centralia beat Highland 44-6. South Callaway knocked off Tolton 25-19. That was in double overtime. Hallsville, as we mentioned earlier, won 33-14 over Putnam County. And those are a few of our scores from last night as we now return to action.
3rd and 14 for the Rockbridge Bruins. 3rd and goal. Tweehouse takes a snap, low snap, looks right. Fires a pass, dangerous, and it is intercepted on the 2. By Rockhurst. A delayed reaction, and that's Josh Moore. As I don't know if many of the Rockhurst players are pleased, because rather than facing 4th and 14 with an inability and unwillingness to send out the field goal unit, they now have to drive 93 yards as they place it on the 3, 97 yards in 2 minutes, 6 seconds with, I believe, 1 timeout. Well, let's see if Derek Green can pull out his inner John Elway, pull off a miraculous 2-minute warning here against this stout Bruin defense so far. Green takes a snap, looks right, gets it to McCandless, who does not hang on to it. He probably wouldn't have gone anywhere after that, but still, that's disappointing for your first play of a very, very important drive, probably the most important drive of the game for them.
Well, going back to the interception, it was an odd feeling throughout the entire stadium as the call was delayed from the referees. There was sort of obviously disappointment from the Rockbridge fans, and I'm not really sure what the feelings were for the Rockhurst side as they celebrated initially, but there was never really just like that moment of euphoria you usually find with an interception. It was delayed and a bit awkward.
A little bit of indifference as Derek Green lines up under center. Points out the defensive setup for Rockbridge. Takes a snap, fakes a handoff, looking downfield for O'Neal. He gives it up to him, and there will be a pass interference call, as that was Kewan Collins, Reese Jarvis's sub, who was brought out earlier in the game due to an apparent leg injury. And that's huge, as that'll be a 15-yard penalty and a fresh set of downs for Rockhurst.
Well, Collins just wasn't able to turn around on that play, as well, now it may look like it could be offensive pass interference, which is what I thought maybe it was initially, as
oh, they got on the defense. They're just marking their
Okay.
steps.
As it will be a first down on for Rockbridge. But there was quite a lot of jabs going back and forth as both were shoving each other. But in that situation, usually the defense is the side that gets nailed with the pass interference.
So it's 1st and 10 from the Rockhurst 18 for the Hawklets. Here with 1:56 to go. Green takes a snap, looks left, can't find anybody, rushes out of the pocket, moves back, and just spikes it into the ground.
And that should be intentional grounding.
As pressure was applied there by nose guard Don Hammers. Of course, he had the big sack earlier in the game. Forced a 3 and out. So it'll be 2nd and 10 as Rockbridge fans agree with my partner that that should have been intentional grounding, as he spiked it, and it seemed to be the vicinity of no receiver other than possibly his running back.
And he certainly was not out of the pocket either, and Coach Vanetta for the Bruins was certainly advocating for that, as there was really no one in the area.
Green takes a snap, looks right, and looking for another out route to McCandless. They've only ran a couple of 3 significant routes that have worked. It's that out route to McCandless, a streak kind of post type route to O'Neal, and then the little button hook to Jacob Sykes, which they haven't gone back to. It worked a couple times early in the game. Of course, it did lead to an interception, as Sykes does check in here on 3rd down and 10 with 1:42 to go. Rockhurst trails Rockbridge by 3 here in quarter 4. Rockhurst faces 3rd down and 10 on their own 18. O'Neal, McCandless line to the near side. O'Neal on the far. Green faces pressure, looks downfield, has O'Neal, and it is battered away. Kewan Collins and Parker Wright teaming up to swat the ball away. It'll be 4th down and 10 and a last gasp for these Rockhurst Hawklets.
Well, pressure again in the backfield again with the Bruins, as I believe Hammers was in the backfield, but it really was that great coverage there, as you mentioned, as O'Neal almost actually came down with it after it was tipped initially, but it landed on the turf for an incompletion. As 4th and 10 here.
And the Rockbridge fans giving their defense every ounce of what they've got left as they're all on their feet for this 4th down stand. Green lined up in shotgun with McCandless behind him. He takes a snap, fakes the handoff, rolls right, looking for a man, looking for that is Jack Eccles on the catch. And is it enough for 1st down? Yes, it is, by about 2 or 3 yards. But they got to hurry up. They only have 1 timeout, 1:25 to go. Still on their own side of midfield.
Well, the clock stops on 1st downs until the ball is spotted, and now the clock is running again as the referee signals.
Looking for a quick out route. Can he bring him down in bounds? That is huge. That is a great job by the Rockbridge defense to bring him down inbounds. They're going to have to go no huddle as the clock keeps ticking. Tick, 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 tick. That was Jack Eccles on the reception. It'll be 2nd and 9 from their own 33. As we're reaching under a minute here, they can't get the play call in. We're down to under a minute. They still haven't snapped the ball. We're at 55, 54. Green under center, pointing to his receiver, making sure he's lined up correctly. 50. He takes a snap, fakes a handoff, rolls left, looking for a target. Can't find anybody, receives pressure. He finally throws it to McCandless, who catches it and is brought down inbounds again. Big-time plays by this Rockbridge defense. There's Bryson Clayton exacting some revenge on this Rockhurst team that he was unfortunately injured against last year. And Rockhurst will take a timeout. 3rd down and 9, 35 seconds to go. We'll take a break too. Rockbridge leads Rockhurst 17-14. This is Missouri High School football on CPS TV. Welcome back. It is 3rd down and 10 for the Rockhurst Hawklets. Possibly the last drive of the game. We got 35 seconds left on their own 32. Rockbridge defense has stood strong so far as they lead by 3. Green takes the snap, looks left, can't find anybody, throws it to McCandless. It is caught. He is brought down in bounds. They don't have a timeout. They have to hustle. They have to hustle. It's 25 seconds. It'll be 4th down and roughly 3. 4th down and 2 from their own 40. They're down to 19, 18, 17, 16, 15. Green cannot get any communication. He takes a snap under center. Fakes a handoff, looking downfield. He needs to find somebody. He's going to run with it. That'll do it. That's the game.
The clock will stop at 3 seconds as they were able to gain the 1st down, but they're going to have to...
Oh, no, they get set quickly. Ooh, part of me, I was wrong. They had to wait for Nate Pete to get off the field, and as they were making subs.
As my friend Alex jumped the gun a little bit, and
a lot of bit.
Rockhurst is able to spike the football with 2 seconds left, and now they'll say their prayers and hope for some miracle to happen.
Send out their biggins. Derek Green will try to heave it as far as he can. As they line up some athletes there in the down near the 30 and 25 yard line. This will be a last heave, a Hail Mary for Rockhurst. Can they get any pressure? Trying to buy time, and it's a wobbler down to the 20, and it is knocked away. And Rockbridge has defeated and upset the number 3 team in the state. The Rockbridge Bruins defeat the Rockhurst Hawklets 17-14. A great victory. Fought very hard. You have to give the offensive MVP to Nate Pete. And, you know, you can't really give a defensive MVP. They all played well.
I would say the MVP of this game is the Bruins defense as a whole.
Absolutely. You know, you just look at a lot of players. You know, Don Hammers applying pressure early on. Will Norris recovering the fumble deep deep in Rockhurst territory. And then
Evan Rodman with the interception as well.
As well as Martez Manuel to keep Rockhurst from scoring as they were driving.
But what a way to start a career at Rockbridge for Van Veneta, the new head coach at Rockbridge, as he comes into this game facing a down season from last year, just overall struggle for the Rockbridge Bruins for the last couple of years, honestly. And they may have already turned this program around as they're able to knock off Rockhurst here. 17-14 is our final, as just an impressive showing by the Bruins to open the year.
Yeah, Rockbridge fans have to be proud of that win, the way their team fought, and especially that defense. And then Nate Pete, of course, taking over there on that fourth quarter drive. But Rockhurst falls just a little short as Rockbridge beats the Hawklets 17-14. This has been Missouri High School Football on CPS TV.